Why did I buy a $4,000 guitar? I wanted it. If you want to watch another video on my channel, you can click just up here. Oh, you want the longer version? Okay. What is up, guys? My name is Ben Hartwell. Thanks for checking out my channel. If it's your first time here, please consider subscribing. So, this is Joyce. Named after my grandmother, she is a 2012 Sir Modern. She has a basswood body, flame maple top, maple neck and fingerboard, Guthrie Govan spec neck shape with a radius of 10 to 14, tuss nut, 24 jumbo stainless steel frets, Goto 510 bridge, hip shot locking tuners. It's in trans charcoal burst finish with a scrape binding, and originally it had 3 John Suhr pickups in it. In the bridge, the SSH Plus, in the neck, the SSSV, and in the middle, the ML single coil. And has a list price of $4,230. One other feature that this guitar has that kind of makes it a little bit unique is the addition of this little switch here. This is a blower switch and is another Guthrie Govan spec edition. And what this switch does is when it's engaged, it bypasses all the electronics on the guitar and sends the bridge pickup straight to the output with full volume and full power. So say I had a sound like this dialed in on position 4 with just a little bit of volume, giving us just a kind of clean tone. Engage the blower switch. Turn it off again. So back in 2013, I had just completed my very first contract in Greece. And after doing that contract, I realised that I needed a more professional instrument to do my next one. I completed that contract with 2 lower spec guitars. One was a Fender Road 1 Strat, and the other one was a Gibson 60s Tribute Les Paul. And although those guitars did get me through that contract, they were by no means perfect for the job. So after the contract, and I'd saved up a little bit of money, I decided it was time to invest in something more professional. I had a few criteria that the new instrument had to meet. It had to be super versatile to the point where if I could only take one guitar, I could get through an entire gig with this one instrument. It had to be able to deal really well with climate changes. My guitar playing has taken me from Miami, the Bahamas, Portugal, Spain, Norway, England, and each of those places has very different climate, some of which can be very taxing on a guitar. So it needed to be able to handle all of those. And above all, it needed to sound awesome. So whilst I was researching on what guitar I was wanting to get, I'd narrowed it down to a few different brands and a few different guitars. We had the Fender Custom Shop, Gibson Collector Series, PRS Custom 24, the Vigier Excalibur, and the Sir Modern. I went to loads and loads of guitar shops and tried as many of these different guitars that I possibly could get my hands on. I really liked some of the PRSs that I played, but they weren't quite the right fit for me. Didn't really get on with the Vigier stuff, and to be honest, I don't think I could live with that body shape, although the necks on the Vigier guitars were some of the best that I played. At the time, there was only 1 or 2 stores in the UK that were carrying Sir guitars, so I went down to Manchester to a store that's no longer there called Tone World, and when I got down there, it turned out that they only had one Modern in stock, and it was bright pink and had a Floyd Rose on it. But it gave me an idea of what the guitar could be like that I wanted to get. So after playing all the different guitars and having a good chat with the guys down at Tone World about the Sir stuff, I decided that I did want to get a Sir Modern. The only problem was trying to get hold of one in the UK. So I hit the internet hard and managed to stumble across the Holy Grail, the guitar that I had been looking for. And once I'd read through all the spec and checked that it was everything that I wanted, I bought it blind. I bought it without even playing it, which is definitely not something that I would recommend you ever do. And it was kind of an impulse quick decision buy, but luckily the guitar was awesome. the 6 years that I've had the guitar, it's not all been plain sailing. In 2013 or 2014, just a year after owning the guitar, it took a fall, getting knocked off a guitar stand and falling straight onto a marble floor. It did a whole load of damage to the guitar. Took a huge chunk out of the bottom of the body, broke the volume pot, put a few nasty dents in the neck and in the frets. But this is why I insure all of my gear, and it's so important that you insure your gear. My insurers were really cool about it. Got in touch with Sir. Sir said they'd ship the guitar over to California, give it a good check, do any of the work that needed doing. In the end, it needed a complete refinish. It had a fret job done, new volume pot, some work done to the neck, and a setup and a few other things like that. But it was all covered under my insurance, although I did have to pay VAT on the work done when it came back into the UK, but thankfully it was all covered. A couple of years ago, it took another fall. Really clumsy with guitars. This time it landed on the very end of the headstock. Didn't really do too much damage. It did put a crack right at the heel, but I've had a luthier look at it and he thinks it's just the paint. And that was a good few years ago now, and the guitar seems to be sound. Other than that, it's got a few battle scars. It's quite a heavy duty finish that's on this guitar, so nothing really shows up too much, but it has got a few chips in it and that, and a good deal of buckle rash on the back. But after doing well over 600 shows, she's not looking bad for her age. As for mods, I've not done a whole lot to this guitar. Originally, it came with an SSH Plus in the bridge and an SSV in the neck. And whilst those pickups were really good, and I used them for a good number of years, this year I've decided that I want something a little more vintage sounding, a little more open, and not as hot as those original pickups. So with the help of my friend Chris, we changed out those pickups and we've put in a set of Thornbuckers. A Thornbucker Plus in the bridge and a regular Thornbucker in the neck, and they sound awesome. They're much more open, vintage, PAF style, and I'm really enjoying them. We also installed a pull split into the tone pot to split the neck pickup. So with it split, I can kind of get that single coil neck sound. As with this guitar, that was the only sound that I was really missing. One of my favorite sounds is the neck pickup on a Strat, and I wanted to get something kind of similar to that without having to stick a single coil into this guitar. So, is this guitar worth $4,000? Absolutely. Guitars for much less money than this are really good guitars, and you could easily do the same number of gigs that I do every week with lower priced guitars. But when you get up to spending this kind of money on an instrument, the quality and the playability and the sound and everything that goes along with that just goes through the roof. Fuck's sake. It handles everything that I've ever thrown at it, all different kinds of styles, all different kinds of temperatures and weathers and climates that I've had to play in. It's taken knocks and bumps and been dropped and still been playable. I get compliments nearly every gig on how good it looks and how amazing it sounds. And anybody that's ever tried it and played it has always said how nice it plays. So yes, it's a very expensive guitar, but yes, it is definitely worth the money. If some of you guys are considering spending this kind of money on a guitar, or maybe you own guitars similar to my Sir, let me know what you've got in the comments down below. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up below. If you want to watch another video on my channel, you can click just up here. And don't forget to subscribe, you can do it just there. See you in the next one.